Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. My name is Annalise and this is my channel where we get planty with it. So it is a super gloomy day outside. Look, you literally can't even see anything out the window. It's just white. It was snowing when I took the dogs out this morning, so definitely a little bit more gnarly than we expected. I was gonna ship out a few plants today, but I'm gonna hold off until either tomorrow or Friday. But I'll actually talk about that in another video that I'm gonna be doing about just how I sell plants kind of from the start to the end of the process. Anyway, that's not today's video. That'll be coming out after this one at some point. But today I wanted to talk about my top 5 favorite Hoya of the moment. I definitely want to do an updated Hoya collection video because I think my last one was over the summer and there's been some new additions, some losses, and then just tons of new growth in general. So I want to do a full updated collection, but I thought today, just as a little teaser to get you guys kind of in the mood, I'm going to talk about my 5 favorite Hoya of the moment. If you like Hoya, or even if you don't, but you just want to see some fun plants, then keep on watching. Okay, so number 1 on this list is actually the Hoya that I got in the Secret Planta gift exchange that we did back in December. My Secret Planta sent me this Hoya and it was actually, I think, just 2 leaves at the time. It was such a little baby and now it has grown so much. Get ready for this Hoya Serpent. Look at this cutie. It literally started out with just the bottom 2 leaves and you can see now there's all this growth up top and there's actually another tendril that's coming out right there. So I'm just so impressed with how this plant is doing. I know that it's very small still, but it is so cute, and the Hoya Serpent leaves are so much better than I expected. I thought they would kind of be like a Matilde leaf, but just smaller, but they're not. They're really kind of fuzzy. They have these cute little dimples on them. I think it's hard to see on camera just how cute they are, but they are so cute. I have a dream for this plant that one day it'll be on a trellis and fill up the whole trellis one day, hopefully. But right now it's just hanging out. It's living in just sphagnum moss with perlite at the bottom. I do leave a little bit of a water reservoir. Otherwise, the stuff in here dries out too quickly. So I leave a little bit of a water reservoir. And then I added this cute little crystal thingy just for good luck. So that is the first one, Hoya Serpent. Plant number 2 is another small leafed Hoya. Now, if you saw my first Hoya collection video, which if you didn't, definitely check it out because it's always fun to see the transformation that some of my Hoya have gone through since that video. But anyway, this was one of the Hoya that I talked about that I was really struggling with at that time. I think I was down to a very small piece. I don't know how many leaves or anything like that. I don't remember, but I know it was a small piece and it was like on death's door. And now it is thriving. The plant is my Hoya Curtissi Eye. Here she is. How beautiful is this Hoya? This Hoya Curtissi Eye is just so cute. It's actually such a fast grower once it's not dying. And I don't know if you can see, but the pattern on the leaves is just this beautiful kind of silver speckling. I'm loving this plant so much. And it looks so cute trailing down over the shelf in my greenhouse cabinet. Highly recommend this Hoya if you want a fast growing one and you like these little cute leaves. So on the theme of plants that I was struggling with when I did my Hoya collection video, another one I really was struggling with was my Hoya Linearis. I could not get that plant to work for me no matter what I did. I tried it in a bunch of different mediums and it always did poorly and it ended up completely dying. I did lose that entire plant. I really loved the Linearis though, so I decided I wanted to get a new one, and I decided this time to get a bigger pot because I think I struggled with having just a few individual strands. I don't know, but I got a 4-inch pot instead in the hopes that it would do better, and I haven't moved it out of the soil that it came in. I've done very little to it and it is thriving. Here is my Hoya Linearis. How beautiful. She's so beautiful. And we're getting new growth everywhere. There's some new growth coming out of the top of the pot there. So I think when I first got this plant back in October, it wasn't growing that much. It wasn't dying, but it was just kind of hanging out, not doing too much. And then I realized I think it kind of likes to stay moist. Comment down below if you had the same experience, but I water this one more frequently now. And since doing that, all of these strands have started actually putting out new growth when they were doing nothing before. So I think that might be the trick. This plant just likes to stay a little bit more on the moist side, but I love this plant. My dream is for this to become like 5 feet long because I've seen some people with really long Linearises and that's like The dream. Okay, we've got two more Hoya to talk about today. So one is actually a recent purchase. I know I've mentioned that I am not purchasing a lot of plants, especially now that I know I'm moving. I'm trying to really not buy plants pretty much at all. In February, I only bought one plant, and so far in March, I have bought one plant, but it was also to support a friend's business. I went to a pop-up recently. It wasn't really a pop-up, it was an event in somebody's apartment where they had different vendors from around the New York City area. There were 5 of them, and they all set up a table and had some of their products for sale. And one of the vendors was Shauna, who runs Soil Vibe, which is a plant store in downtown Manhattan that I absolutely love. I've been there many times, gotten lots of plants from her, and she was there and I saw a plant I couldn't resist, and it was under $20, so why not? Long-winded way of saying, this is my new Hoyaobovata Splash. Now, the thing that drew me to this plant, because you might be wondering, don't you already have one? Yes, I do. But look how splashy these leaves are. Mine is nowhere near this splashy. Look at this new leaf. So the combination of that with just the size of these leaves, because my leaves are definitely not this big on my other one, I just could not resist this plant. I think it was like $18, which is really not a bad price. And probably after I move, once it's acclimated to the new location, I'll transfer it to Leca so it can be in the same pot as the other one. But for now, since I'm moving soon, I'm just letting it be in soil, hanging out because it seems happy. But this is one I'm really excited about, really loving. Can't stop looking at that splashiness. So last but not least is my biggest Hoya for sure, and it's one that I've always loved, but I think sometimes takes a back seat because I don't know why. I just feel like sometimes I don't look at it as much or appreciate it as much as I could, but for some reason within the past month it's decided to shoot out so much new growth. It hadn't grown for most of the winter, which is totally understandable, but then it decided, let's put out 10 different leaves. The plant I'm talking about is my Hoya Pubicalx Splash. Let me grab it. Here we go. This is my Hoya Pubicalx Splash. It is a crazy plant. It definitely needs an up pot someday soon, but it's putting, oh, we lost a leaf, that's okay. It happens, that's normal. It's putting out so much new growth though, so I don't know if it really needs an up pot right now, but I can't imagine that it doesn't because it's been in this pot for a good while. Anyway, let me show you some of the new growth. So a lot of the lighter green leaves, I don't know if they'll come across that way on camera, but they are new. So these guys right here, you can also tell them by touching them. They're really soft. They haven't hardened off. Those guys are new. This is a new leaf that's just absolutely massive, like the height of my head. Here's another new leaf. This is a new leaf. This is a new leaf. This is a new leaf. I mean, I could go for like ever. There's so much new growth on this plant. I don't know what I've been doing differently. I actually kind of have changed my fertilizer routine up recently, and I'm wondering if that's why my plants are doing so well. I think I had thought it was just because the weather is getting a little bit better and we're getting out of winter, but now I'm like, maybe the fertilizer is the change. I've been using the Dynagrow Foliage Pro fertilizer, which I know a lot of people like. What I like about it is that you can use it for plants that are in hydroponics, so plants in Leca, and plants that are living in water, but then you can also use it for plants that are in soil. And for me, that's really easy because it just simplifies my routine. I like to be able to just like fill my watering can and go and water everything instead of having to do different nutrients for this plant versus that plant. So maybe that's what's really been encouraging all this new growth in my collection. I don't know. I'll definitely keep you guys updated if I see a difference with that fertilizer over the long term, and I'll definitely also do an updated Leca care routine because I think a lot has changed in how I care for my plants that are in Leca, which are most, maybe not most, but at least half, probably more than half of my plants. Anyway, this is my final favorite Hoya. I mean, how can you resist? This is like the best plant ever. The other thing I love about it is it's not really in highlight. It's about probably at least 15 feet back from a east facing window. So that's not super, that's really not that much light, but like we're getting this kind of adorable little growth. Woo woo. Okay, so that's gonna be it for my top 5 Hoya of the moment. I'm hoping that next month in April, ooh, that might be tight because I'll be moving. Hopefully end of March, I'll be putting out my updated Hoya collection video. Comment down below, what Hoya are you loving right now? I definitely had more than 5 that I love, but if I really showed you all the ones I love, I'd be showing you almost my whole collection, so I decided to save that for another video. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one. Bye!